record this meeting. That way we have something to go back on. Oh, well, it's interesting. We'll have to look at that, Michelle. We will have to look at that. Okay. So I am going to share my screen with you. And we are going to go in through desk to get to our Moxi. You see here I have the tile here. If for whatever reason you can't find your Moxi tile, you can just type it in that Find an App and it will come right up to the top for you. As always, before I teach any tool, I like to try to remember to show you that you can click this little ellipsis here, and there is a help center as well that you can get into. It will help you. They do have a quick start guide in Moxi. They do have some training materials, all of your support information, and then some facts about the tool itself. So we're going to click on that tile and we're going to go into the app. And it will take it a second to come up. And on your main screen, you're going to see on your home screen, you do have the option to get to your account to manage your profile. If you haven't already done so, I would highly recommend going in, making sure that you have a robust profile. And you can see here, I have 8 pages of reports, things that I have created through numerous classes for numerous clients. Some have pictures, some do not. But anything that I need to access, I can get back to if needed. So from here, we're going to create new, and we're going to select buyer. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a buyer presentation, and it'll show you here the presentation types. It does say find the perfect property for your buyer client or create a CMA on a potential property. We're also able to just send them some information so that they can get to know us. So here we can see that there is a default buyer. I'm going to scroll down to the Mid-Atlantic region. You probably will not have all of these because I'm an employee. They've given me all of them. You can see here we have our Mid-Atlantic buyer presentation, and I do want to check that box, and I want to continue. I want to make sure that I am on Bright MLS. Yours should default to that automatically. If you have a choice between MRIS and Bright MLS, definitely want to choose Bright. And then this is a buyer presentation, so I'm preparing this for maybe I'm just going to put my clients' names. I can put buyer presentation there, or if I just want to include their names, that's okay as well. And then I'm going to create. This is where Moxi always kind of stops. It does nothing, or at least it appears that it's doing nothing. Don't panic. In just a few seconds, it will come up with that little circle to let us know that it's spooling, it's thinking, it's pulling all of the photos and the information, and it's getting them ready for us. But as with this screen, there it goes. It just kind of sits for a minute. So don't panic. It is doing something, even though it looks like it's not. So you can see here, we are in a new screen. It is prepared for, so maybe if I've spelled their name wrong or I need something, I can go through. I'm going to add them to the dictionary just so that it doesn't constantly underline them. And I can enter a listing MLS ID number, a location with a zip code. So maybe I want to give them some information about specific property. I have some remarks here that I can complete. And I also have this wonderful INRIX drive time. So that's something that if a buyer comes to you and says, I am going to be working at this specific location, and I would like to look at houses within a certain time, you know, with a certain commute or within a certain distance, you're able to start that location, have that location there. So let's say that they tell us, I'm working at Kohl's in Towson. So we'd be able to look for Kohl's in Towson. So that's actually in Timonium. So we're going to grab that address. Maybe that's where they work. And we can just paste that address right in here. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us the location. So I'm going to set my location. It's going to give a location here, and I can base everything in my presentation around this specific location. And you'll see here, it will map that out for me. And this is optional. You don't have to use that. But we're going to hit the continue button. And this is where we're going to search for properties on the MLS. Now, there are two different ways that you can do this. A lot of agents that I speak with are much more comfortable and much more familiar doing a search on the Bright MLS. So if you feel more comfortable that you would like to go into the Bright MLS and do your search for your buyers, you are able to do so and then pull those MLS numbers and import them this way into your specific buyer presentation. I don't even have to include anything in this portion of my presentation. It is not a requirement. I can just go with the pages. This might be something that I send before I meet with my buyers, but I can also set the location here, and I can search for properties based on this location. So here you're going to start seeing a lot of different listings. I can edit based on distance. I can include all of these different fields. I can go into filters, and you're able to say, you know, how long has the property been on the MLS? Do I want sold? Probably not, because we're looking at something we can buy. I'm not going to send them open houses. I never want to send my clients to someone else's open house. I definitely want them to go with me to see the homes. Do I want to include short sales? Do I want to include bank owned? Or do I want to include any of these others? For this sake, I'm just going to include the actives because that's what my client wants to see. And I can add the information in here per what my client has requested. Maybe they only want a specific type of house, or they only want, you know, whatever it is that they want. You're able to input it here, and I can apply. You can also reset the filters. Maybe they need at least 1 bedroom, and maybe they're coming in and they say, I definitely need 4 bedrooms, minimum of 1 bath, and I need 2. Let's say we're going to say 2, and this will pull from the MLS. I believe the way that Bright does it is when you say 2 bathrooms, it's pulling 2 toilets. So that might be a 1.5 bath, but we're going to apply that, and it's going to take out, and you can see now there are 9 listings. So it kind of whittled that down, and then maybe their price is up to, let's go with $350 just for the sake of it. And then it's going to pull from the MLS. Now it's telling me no results. So I want to go back and change that. I'll just put $0 and we'll see what comes up. Oh, that was the minimum. So don't do what I did. To use this. So now we have 9 listings that potentially they may want to see. Again, if you have them signed up in the MLS already and they're already receiving properties from you, you can skip this step entirely and just send them the wonderful pages that are included with the presentation. For the sake of the class, I will leave these listings here. They are something that they can peruse, they can look through, and they can determine if they are things that they would like to view. And I'm going to hit continue, and I can go through. If I want to add additional listings, I can add custom listings as well. There is an estimate page. Usually at this time, we're not able to determine the estimated cost. We're not able to necessarily put this information in just yet. And then we have our pages. So the first thing that you want to do when you get to pages is you want to hit this view button and you want to look at your web presentation. And I'm going to go through the entire presentation and I'm going to look at what are my clients going to see from their end. So we're going to see here, they're going to get this great buyer's guide. They can also choose to see this as a PDF if they prefer. It's going to have all of my profile information that is reading from my profile in Moxi. So if I haven't completed it, this information will be blank. So that's why it's very important to go in and make sure your profile is complete. So it does give them some information about what is the process of buying their home. So this is a buyer guide. What is the purpose? What is the why behind this buyer guide? It's letting them know what the purchasing process is, the power of their pre-approval, a little bit about their home search, and that we do give full service support. So you are able to toggle and make this a little bit smaller if you wish. That way it's a little more readable. And you'll see here we have just a tab that goes through. And then step by step. I do love this page. It lets them know first they need to get that pre-approval. Then we will sit down and discuss what they want or what they need. A lot of times you'll have those people that say, well, I just want to go look at houses. I don't ever want to show you anything that you're unable to afford. Again, I'm never going to test drive that Ferrari and then go and buy a Corolla because it's just not going to be the same. And then that's when we're going to select the properties, view the properties, write the offer, negotiate, and you guys know how this works. So that's a great step-by-step guide that you can go through with them. And it lets them know that you are their partner in the process. You're not just going to show up with a list of homes. You are the person that they're going to discuss their needs, their wants, their wishes with their house. You're going to help them get pre-approved. You're going to recommend some lenders for them, establish the correct budget for them, show the properties that meet the criteria within their budget, and it explains to them everything that you are going to do for them. You have the power of your pre-approval, and then it will go through and it will explain to them again why this pre-approval is so important, not only because we want to make sure that we're not looking at anything they can't afford, but it also lends to their contract. When they do submit that contract, they've already been pre-approved, and it makes their contract it just makes their contract better and look better to the sellers, gives them more purchasing power. And then the pre-approval process, I will tell you, I wish somebody would have given this to me 4 years ago when I bought my house. I've worked in this business for 16 years and I had no clue all the paperwork that really went into this. So I absolutely love the fact that you're giving this to them in the beginning. So if they don't know where some of these papers are, they have the time to find them. Before they, call the lender. They already know they're going to need tax returns and pay stubs, but maybe they need to get some information about alimony or child support, or maybe they need to look for those credit card statements. So it does give them that opportunity to go through and look for some of that paperwork. And then it explains the home search. So it does talk about our agent website. That is the reason that our agent website should be customized. That way, as we're sending everyone to it, they're able to go, they're able to search. If we have our IDX set up, they are able to search for every home that is currently available on the market. We are a one-stop shop. They don't have to go to Zillow. They don't have to go to Realtor.com. They don't even have to go to ColdwellBanker.com. They can just come to our agent website and they can look, and they can also save anything that they want to see in the future. That gives them the ability to kind of decide for themselves. And they can do that again from their mobile device, their tablet, their desktop. As you can see, it spells it out for them. They also can go to ColdwellBankerHomes.com. This is a page if you don't feel comfortable, if I don't want to confuse someone and send them to my website and then ColdwellBankerHomes.com, I am able to take this out, and I will show you in just a moment how to remove pages from your presentation. Now, it will not remove this page from the original template, just from this specific presentation, and then I can create my own template as well. It does go into Exclusive Look, which is a new program. It is Coldwell Banker only, but the best part of it is the wants and needs. That means as an agent, I can let my buyer know that I have a national network of other participating Coldwell Banker agents across the country, which means I can go into my system and I can say, I have a client who is actively looking in the Timonium area. We are looking for XYZ. Do you have anything coming on the market soon? And that gives my buyer an advantage. If an agent has something coming soon, I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to be able to say, hey, this is hitting the market on the 20th. We can make an appointment on the 20th and go see it as soon as it is active. We also have the sneak peeks and then our brokerage exclusives as well. Home preferences. This is a page, again, they can view this as a PDF. You can also print this out and give this to your clients when you meet with them, and they are able to specify their preferences and how important they are. I find that a lot of times when we're working with buyers, I was one of them, I will admit, that I have exactly this home in my mind that I'm looking for, but then I'm willing to just look at anything. And as you go through something like this, you can whittle it down and say, I need a family room that has a fireplace, or I'm not willing to have, I really need to have a table space in my kitchen. I'm not willing to give those things up. They're very important. And then that helps me as an agent to go back and speak with my client and say, well, I'm showing you these homes because they meet the criteria that's most important to you. There might be another home in the area that does not have kitchen table space, but because that was a 5 on your list, maybe that's why that's not included. And this just opens up that conversation that you can communicate then and build that relationship and build that communication so you know exactly what they're looking for. It also gives them the rundown on how we are making an offer on the home. What are all of the key components that go into that? How long has it been on the market? Have they reduced the price? How much is the home worth? So this lets them know that we can do the CMA to make sure that the home that they're placing their offer on is priced fairly with a fair market value. Are there going to be other multiple offers? In this day and age, there may be. The inventory is not as great as it usually is. Things are flying off of the market, so other people may be putting in offers as well. Other items that might be included in the sale. Why is the seller selling, and can you get a loan for this particular home? So that gives you the opportunity again to start that conversation with them and add value. You are the person that they count on to represent them. And these are all of the factors that go into writing an offer on the home that they want to purchase. So it does lay that out for them, the negotiation process. You're going to have a strategy. You're going to go in and you're going to work with them, make sure that they're buying something within their budget. And then closing on their home. Letting them know there will be a home inspection and a title search. What are these things? Why are they important? The appraisal, the final walkthrough, and the closing costs. So again, I love that it gives them a breakdown. In addition to the deposit and the down payment, here are some other costs that may be involved in the purchase of their home. So it's not just, hey, let me look at this house, let me fill out a piece of paper, and then I can go sign for it and it's mine. There's a lot of little steps in between. And again, we're here to help them with those steps every bit of the way. We do offer full service support. So it does go into home-based management. I absolutely love this system. All of their account information they can access, so they can go in and access even after closing. So when they do have estate planning, when it's tax season and they can't find, and it happens when you move, you can't find that Alta, they can just log into the system. They're able to print that out and give that to their accountant etc. So that's just an added value that you provide, and the automated email alerts and messaging so that we're always keeping in contact with them throughout the transaction. And we do have start to finish, mortgage services, warranty, title, insurance, property management, commercial. We can refer them to all of these affiliates that we work with and have relationships with as well. And then it has a glossary. So this is something nice as well. Somebody has never bought a home before. Maybe it's been several years and we're talking on our real estate jargon, and then they're unsure exactly what that is. Maybe they don't feel comfortable asking. They can go through the glossary and kind of look over and see what some of these things are, just to give them a little bit of added education in their home buying process. And again, you can take the glossary out if you don't feel that it's needed. Maybe you have someone that's bought and sold several times and they already understand the process, and then getting started. So again, we are here to help them find the right home, negotiate the best possible price and the best possible terms. That's not always the lowest price, and that's not always the fastest settlement. So whatever is best for them. And we do want to close in a smooth and timely manner. And again, it's about their complete satisfaction. So you can see here all of the information that I included with this specific buyer's guide. I'm also able to print a portrait version. You will see it will take it several minutes for the PDF to come up. Don't panic. That is normal. It will go through, and then you'll see a blue bar that will come up and go across the top. And what that does is it takes the exact same presentation and it just folds it into a portraitscape, and you are able to print that out in the office or at home. You can do front and back, and you can give that to them when you meet with them. That gives them a little bit more information. You're not just showing up with a stack of properties for them to look through. And you'll see here, it does lay that out very beautifully. It gives them that entire the entire thing in a portrait view and goes through all of that information for them. If there is information in this home buyer guide that I do not need for this specific client, so let's say that I'm going through and I've decided I do not want to share the information for Coldwell Banker Homes, I can remove that particular page by hitting that X button. It will come up and say remove. That page is not gone forever. Let's say I take that page out and then I realize, oh shoot, I didn't mean to take that out. I can add the page here from the library as well. You're also able to create a brand new page for this particular presentation. I can upload a PDF page that I already have if I've used Design Concierge and I have an agent profile that has been done up for me. I can include that, and I can remove the agent profile from the system, or I can build a page myself. So this is custom presentations. I can look at it if I want. If I know that I'm just going to print this, I'm not going to send it via the web. I can do a print portrait or that web preview, and I can determine through here what I want it to look like. I would suggest going into the system and creating a presentation from scratch just to practice and to go in and kind of play with these to learn how they work. So you're able to include videos. If you have a video, it does need to have a URL. So that would need to come from YouTube, but maybe you have some information from YouTube that you want to include, or an image, or just text. And as soon as you do that, you're able to start texting. You type it in and you're able to format that as you see fit through the system. And again, it does take a little bit of playing around with it. Go in, play with it, add something, create a page. You can also add information down here. The more you play with it, the easier it is to work with. And once you're done, you're able to save and you're able to name this page. Now, just note that whatever you name the page, that is how it will come up in the web presentation. So maybe I want to call this Timonium area, and then Timonium area amenities. However, you don't even have to have a description. And I always like to enable my page editing in case I want to go back and mess with this page later and kind of edit and do some other things with it. And I'm going to save that page. You can see here I really didn't do much to it for the sake of time for our class. And then here it has actually added it to my presentation. So I'm able also to toggle that. And if I would like to have that a little bit higher in the presentation, I am able to move these pages around as I see fit. If I've decided that I do not want to include the glossary, here you can see I can view that PDF to see what page was this. I don't remember. Oh, it was this page. I don't want that. I can take that out. If I'm going to take out one page, I probably need to take out all 4 of the glossary. And then if I have this exactly the way I want it, let's say I've taken out a few pages, and when I start the next time with the buyer presentation, I want to just have these specific pages. I can go down and save that as a template. And this is not the buyer's tour. This is the buyer presentation. And I want to save that as a buyer template. And then maybe I'm just going to call it buyer presentation. And then when I go in to create, I am able to just choose my own buyer presentation. So I'm going to save this, and then I'll show you where that is when you begin. So you can see here when I did my search, I really didn't add anything. So that was my fault. So you do have to hit the include button. So if you go through and you get to your pages, and I find that that's what happens frequently, we get to the pages and we say, where are all of the properties? What did I do with them? You have to actually click on them to include them. So you can include them all, or you can click off of them. Again, you're also able to go to the MLS to pull all of the properties from the MLS and just input the MLS numbers, and that will import, let's say this was my list from the MLS, that will import all of them into this presentation. And then I'll show you what that looks like as we continue through. We have our pages here, and we'll hit view for web. Let's see if mine works today. And again, it will go through. It looks like mine is not adding the properties for some reason. I had a help desk ticket for this before. Oh, so there was my, you can see I really didn't do anything with that custom page, but if you had videos there, they would play whatever information you include in your custom page. And your custom page will also be saved into your Moxi so that you're able to use it for other presentations as well. So it does look like it's not really including any of my properties. So I apologize for that. So it looks like listings. So it is showing them here. You can add custom listings if you have a for sale by owner. You're able to add that as well to your presentation. And I'm not going to have any of this information just yet. For some reason, it's just not adding them to mine, so I will have to check on that. I had that issue before. But even by itself, the home buyer guide is very good to send out. You're able to send it directly from the system. So you can also attach that PDF that they can pull up if you think that they would prefer to view the information that way. I can send the information to myself. If I want it to come directly from my cbmove.com email, I can always forward it from there. My buyer presentation. here I have my message. And then I can also send a copy to myself. If I'm sending directly from the system, I can send a copy to myself as well. I know some agents prefer to send it to the cbmove.com and then they forward it directly from their email. I'm fine with sending it directly from the system. And then you have settings here as well to see, do I want to have the header photo on? Do I want to turn it off? My office information, etc. And more. You can share, you can assign to an agent. So for those of you that have assistants, they can go in and they can create this for you and assign it to you. Or if you have a co-presenter, maybe you're on a team and there's more than one agent working with the same client, you're able to add that person here as well. Let's see, multiple zip codes. I do believe you can do multiple zip codes. Let's take this information out for right now. So when you go into search, you're also able to add zip code. Oh, we're going to take that out. And we can do a zip code here. And then you're going to find some information that's going to come up based on what I had in my search results. And I can add those properties here. And then I can go back in and maybe they want Baltimore as well. And it's going to pull up the listings. Again, whatever criteria I had put in for these particular buyers, I'm able to add those properties as well. If you want to use the system, you can do it that way. And here you're going to see it's going to map all those out for you. You're going to be able to tell where they are in the area. Or I can just go to the MLS. I can pull that report and I can input those numbers here. And they don't need spaces. However, the MLS number is written. You can add all the MLS numbers here and hit this lovely hourglass and just make sure that you've included all of them. If you want to include every single thing that's on the list, you can do that. And that's a very helpful button when you've included your own MLS numbers. And let's see. So here. And here you can see here are all those listings. You can add more listings down here. And again, I believe mine's not connecting because I'm an employee. So I'm not really allowed to send anyone anything with a bunch of properties on it. But it should include that in your base presentation. Once you're done and you've sent it out, again, you can look at it web view or print view over here. You can add people over here. If you don't need it at all, you can delete it. Just know that if you hit this delete button, this is gone forever. There's no way to get it back. There's no trash bin. So just be aware of that. And again, if I've made any other changes, I can go in and I can save that as a template and get back to it later. So let's say that I've started over or I've come back in and I want to create a new one and I want to use that template. I've already taken some pages out. I have it exactly the way I want it. I'm going to create new. I'm going to create a buyer presentation, continue. And then instead of picking a brokerage template here, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And I do apologize. I have like the whole country in here. And you can see on the bottom now I have my own templates. So I have a buyer presentation here and a basic buyer presentation here. So you definitely have to label it something that you're going to remember when you're searching for it. What am I going to search for? So I did label that as a buyer presentation and I can hit continue and I can, who is it for? And I can create. And that is I believe that is the issue with mine is the MLS is not connected to mine again, because I'm an employee. Yours should pull all of that information through. And again, this is where it stops. It doesn't do anything. It just kind of sits for a few moments until that circle comes up. Don't panic. It is thinking, even though nothing on the page is moving. There we go. Now we have that little circle that comes up. And you can see here, instead of 25 pages, we have 21. So here it has included that Timonium area page that I had included. I had taken out the glossary. The glossary is not included. I'd taken out the other page. That's not included as well. So I don't have to go through every single time and reinvent the wheel. My suggestion would be to go in and create a buyer presentation to get it exactly the way you want it. Save it as the template. And then every time that you go in to create one, you don't have to take those extra steps. It will be exactly the way that you want it to be. The other benefit of this is I don't have to print a bunch of these and stick them on a shelf somewhere. I'm able to go into the system, hit that print button, print it out as I walk out the door to meet with my buyer. If it's something that I want to bring with them, I'm able to do that as well. So again, I apologize that mine is not pulling from the MLS and inserting. I may need a help desk ticket for that on my end. Some of my things were wonky when I came back from furlough. That may be part of it as well. So any questions on the buyer presentation? You can unmute yourself, or you can put it in chat, which I do have up on my phone. And then I'll briefly show you the buyer tour, which you're able to do in Moxi as well.
Angie, I have one quick question.
Sure.
When you were searching originally to get your original list of properties, are you able to search under any criteria at all, or just certain ones? For example, say you want to say that, say you want to find out what the commission, just as an example, on a set of properties would be, to see if they're all standard or in an area. Can you do that, or is it only basic things like bedrooms?
Yes, the filters in here are pretty basic. That's why I always go back and recommend that if you're very comfortable in the MLS, I find it much easier just as an agent to go in and find those MLS numbers to pull everything in the MLS and just to input all those numbers here, because I know that in the MLS it gives you a lot more options to be able to filter, where this system it doesn't really give you all the options to whittle that stuff down. And I can send it back to default and apply. But yeah, when you go into that search feature, it doesn't give you all those extra options that you would have in the MLS.
Okay, thank you.
So that's why it is good. I like the fact that they did with this system that you can go in and do your search here. It's a one-stop shop. Or again, if you're more comfortable in MLS and you're looking for very specific data, you're able to just do your search there, get that list of MLS numbers, and then it only takes a few minutes to import them here as well. And once you get those MLS numbers and you hit the search button, this is what it's going to look like. It will actually pull those specific listings for you. You can hit the include all button. It will check off all of the listings that you have imported, and then you can move on. So that's the option there, because it is a little bit more limited in this system. Yes. Okay. If we don't have any more questions about the presentation, I will tell you there is this lovely little button down here. I am a very big fan of the help button. I probably hit the help button more than you do. So don't be afraid of it. If you hit the help button, it will come up. So here are some top suggestions for you. They are general suggestions. You can type a question here. Maybe I have a question about a buyer tour. I can hit that, and the support button will come up with more suggestions. So here are some more suggestions. So how do I check out the buyer presentation, the buyer tour? How do I create the buyer tour? How do I interact with my buyer tour? Or I can get in touch with an actual person if that's what I need. Or I can create the buyer tour. I can click that, and it's actually going to take me to the link. So if I go in and I click that link, it will bring it up. So does it answer your question, yes or no? And this goes into an actual video here, where you can see taking a person on a tour of listings. You can help yourself by going and putting them in as a buyer tour. It will show them all the listings that you're going to visit. It's going to show them the route. How are you going to get there? The reviews and the ratings on the listings, etc. And then it has this lovely little video that you can click on and you can play, and we'll watch it real quick.
Oh, that's how that works. Creating a buyer tour. One of the types of presentations you can create is called a buyer tour. This will let you show your clients the route that you're going to take and give them the option to give you reviews and rate the listings that you've shown them on your buyer tour. To create a buyer tour, start by selecting the Create New button in the top right-hand corner and select Buyer Tour. Next, we can pick our template and give this presentation a title and the listing source. We can also allow notes and ratings on the bottom. If you don't want to allow them to give you notes and ratings on your listings, you can turn this off here. Then it will drop us into the 4 steps in creating your buyer tour. First is options. This will let you put in your starting location. This will be the location that they're coming from, so either their home, work, or anywhere else they'd like to start. Just put the address in the starting location box, and the Google map will appear on the right-hand side. Next, we can search for our listings. We can do this in a few different ways. We can search by an area, on the map, or by an address. But odds are, if you're creating a buyer tour, you have specific listings that you're going to visit. So we can put those MLS numbers in the search bar and get those specific listings so that when we put our buyer tour together, it's the listings that we've already chosen. Next is your listings. We can put this in the order that we're going to visit our listings. On the top, there is the Change Order button. This will let us drag and drop this into the order that we're going to visit. On the right-hand side is the map, where it shows us the route that we're going to be taking to each one of these listings. And it will update as we update the order. The last step is adding our pages. Here we can add in any marketing pages, one-sheets, or custom pages that we created. You can also have the CMA pages that you have in normal presentations. Now, once we've completed our presentation, we'll want to email this presentation to our clients. So we'll use the Send button in the top right-hand corner. And we can email it to our client. You've now seen how to create a buyer tour. Please check out the next article, which shows you how to interact with that buyer tour when you're with your client.
So you can see that gives you a little bit of a synopsis on what that buyer tour is for. So if you don't want to just print some paper out from the MLS, if you want to give them something that's a little more interactive, we just want to go in, we want to create new. We do want to select that buyer tour. So again, we are able to put in the listings that we've already selected from the MLS, or maybe some properties that they've gone onto our website and they've liked, and they said, these are the properties I want to see. And we're able to go down to that mid-Atlantic, oh, maybe I don't have one. Let's see. Default, we're going to use the default. And then who are we preparing that for? And we want to make sure that we have the correct MLS, that bright MLS. And this is where they said you can toggle if you want to allow notes and ratings or you don't. So I'm going to leave that checked. And then I'm going to create. And then it always puts me into this lovely page where it's the do nothing. And it just sits for a moment. And I have to wait for it to kind of catch up. And then in a minute, you'll see that little circle that comes up. Don't panic. It's just pulling all those really good high resolution photos and all of the information from the system and leafing through what pages it needs. So you can see here, you'll start here. You're going to put that starting location. Where are they going to start from? We're going to set that location. We're going to do a search. We can either do a search in this field, or again, we can include those MLS numbers from the Bright MLS. So if we have some Bright MLS numbers, we'll do this quickly just to show you as an example. So let's say that they want to go look at properties. I always use Joppatown because I am very familiar with the area. I'm not very good with Bright. So here we have the zip code, we have coming soon and active. And I know there are properties for sale in this area. Not sure what I'm doing wrong with Bright.
Angie, you have your, excuse me, you have your name in one of the fields at the bottom.
Do I really? Okay, I'm glad that you noticed that.
Just keep scrolling down.
If it was Maris, I'd be really good at it. If it was Bright, oh, here it is. That would be why. So don't do what I do. Be better than me. All right, so here we have 31 results. And I'm just really going to go in and pick some of these active MLS numbers. So here I'm going to copy this specific number. I'm going to go to Moxi, and I'm going to paste that number in, and I'm going to search for that particular property. Here you're going to see that's going to come up on Court Drive. It's going to put it on the map for me, and I'm going to select that property. If you have your list already done, you can literally go through and you can just copy and paste from here, or if you want to write them all down, you'd be able to write them down and then just type them in as well. And then here I'm going to go ahead and take that one out, put the new one in, and hit the enter button. And here you're going to see there's the next property. So now I have 2, and let's go for 3 just for the sake of it. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to search for that property as well, and I'm going to add that property. So now I have 3 listings, 3 homes that we are going to see in person. Oh, Mark and Mindy, thanks. Egg-shaped abodes. I love it, and I love it. And we're going to continue. And here I can put these in order. So how do I want to look at them? Do I want to start here and go to here and then go over here? I can tell you because I'm familiar with this area, Brittany Drive. So I want to hit this change order button. We want to look at Brittany Drive first because they're over here where they're starting. And then we can just drive through the town that way. And that's how you're going to rearrange the order. And I'm going to save that order for them. And I'm going to continue. And here it's going to give me my presentation. So I always go through, and I always like to view the web presentation first. This is something that I can send to them via email, and again, mine says Realty because I am with marketing. Yours has not changed yet. Yours will say residential brokerage until we have changed with the Maryland Real Estate Commission. So here you can see it's going to do the same thing that it does when you have a listing presentation and you offer a CMA. It's going to pull the information the same way. So now it's giving them a listing location map where I can hover over any of these properties. So if I hover over Brittany Drive, you can see down here on the map, this is going to light up. It's going to have that shadow behind it so they can see on the map where each of these properties are listed. Client is also able to select the property and to go through and look at all of the photos as they are shown online via the listing agent. Whatever has been uploaded into the system, they're going to get the information via the MLS. So that is going to let them know it is coming from the MLS directly. This is just information that we're giving them some added features. And again, they can go through and they can click on the information. They can go through the photos as they would on the internet. And then they can scroll through. So now it's going to give them a listing overview. So we all look at information in different ways. The information is here. It's also here. So they can add their review here, where they can determine, yes, this is a property. I give it 3 stars. My notes here, they're able to type something in, and they can save that so that you can see that later. once they've seen the property, or, you know, maybe they don't really want to see this property, maybe they add a review and they're like, no, this is really not what I'm looking for. They're able to type that in and save that. That might be something that saves you from going into a home that they have no interest in purchasing. And then it's going to give them a side-by-side comparison. So it is going to allow them to see, you know, these are all, these two are 3 bedrooms. This is a 4-bedroom. You know, they each have 2 bathrooms, or at least 2 toilets. So here again, we can see where that MLS came up. We said 2 bathrooms, and this one has 1 full bath and 1 half bath because it has 2 toilets. So just remember that when you're inputting that information. If you do it through this system, then it's going to go through the list price. So you can see willy-nilly, we just kind of pick some, but it's going to, they can go through and they can get the information. I would caution them if the listing agent has inputted the information for the school system, again, they need to go through and make sure that that information is correct. There is a status comparison. So this is just a short synopsis of the information. Listing averages. And again, you don't have to include all of these pages if you don't want, and you'll be able to see like how long have they been on the market. So this one's been on the market a lot longer than this one. You know, the price per size. So this one is a smaller property than this one, which is a smaller property than this one. And that's another reason why they've gone up in price as well, or actually down in price. And then here we have your agent profile, and that's the entire buyer tour. So this is something where I can include my profile. Maybe I want my profile at the top. Again, you're able to toggle that information as you see fit. If you feel that I've given them the location map and they can click through and maybe they don't need this extra page, you can take that out. Just know that it's taking it out of this presentation, not out of any future buyer tours that you do. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so it is a cleaner, kind of a cleaner look to how you may send it out from the MLS. You can open this up, so anywhere that you have Wi-Fi, if they open up their email on their phone, they are able to open this web presentation. It should format for their mobile device. And I'm not, actually, I will have to check for you to see if you receive a notification that they have written a review. I would assume so, but you know what they say about assuming. So I will actually look into that for you to see if it does notify you if they've written a review. I also like to, when I send this to my client, I like to type something in the message that lets them know. So I'm also going to send them the PDF form as well. But I'm going to let them know if there's anything in this list that they look at after looking through these photos and they decide that it does not fit their criteria. Let me know and I can remove that and resend this to them, because that's something very simple, just going into the search and taking that out of the listings that I have included. And the other option that I have is to go in and look at that print portrait. Just be aware, just like the listing presentations, when we include properties, it is going to pull everything from the MLS. So as we go through, you'll see it's giving a nice cover sheet. I have moved my agent profile to the top. Here it's giving them that listing location map. It's giving them the property list. Here are the side-by-side comparisons. So that is 2 pages. It is 3 pages. The listing average, the days on, the price and days on the market. So there are multiple pages for that. When I print this out, maybe I don't want to print those extra pages. Maybe I do, but it's given them all of the information in a PDF. Now, depending on what you want to add, you can add pages from the library for any presentation that you do in Moxi. If it's a listing, a buyer presentation, a buyer tour, you are able to go in and add pages. They can be brokerage pages. They can be pages that you have already created. You will have your own library. So in the last presentation we did, I created that kind of that bum page, we can go in and we can add anything that we want through here. So maybe I took out that listing overview and then I thought, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Don't panic. You're able to go and add that here. You can add an estimate comparison. So anything that you have, probably not great for a buyer tour because those are sold. So we probably don't want to add that. But maybe net proceeds, these things, if you need them, you can include them. Any custom pages that you have already created. So here's that Timonium area custom page that I just created. You can see I have a lot in here that I've made, and be very aware of what you have named it, because you can see down here, for those of you that have been around for a while, we had toolkit. I uploaded the entire toolkit into my system before it went away, because I was afraid I was going to lose something I might want in the future. You can see here, I would want to go through, and if you've forgotten to rename it, have no fear. You can go and rename something in the system here and save it. But anything you've already created, so if you already have an agent profile sheet, or you have an introductory video, I'm a very big fan of having that short, maybe 2-minute video that you have created. Hi, I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to go look at houses with you. And you've included that here, and you're able to add that page from your library. And then there are also brokerage pages that you can go through. So they do have universal buyers pages, and I can add some of those buyer guide pages to my buyer tool. If I want to add that glossary, if I want to add some of the tabs, those are just the pages with the pretty pictures that have the, this just says full service and it has a beautiful picture. But I'm able to add some of those pages as well if I want to add them to my buyer tour. Maybe I want to add that agent website and give them a little more information, or maybe I want to create a page that talks about my personal agent website and include that. So you can see my page number has already gone up, so that now when I click on pages, that Timonium area page, that custom page is here. And again, I can move that around anywhere that I want and include that anywhere I want. If I don't have area specific information, so if it's not personalized to the specific area, but it's just customized, maybe this isn't Timonium area, maybe this is, my video, I can save this as a template as well. And the next time I go in, I can choose this specific presentation, and I don't have to play with all of these different, I can move my agent website there, and then I can save as a template. Again, it's a buyer tour, so I want to be very specific. It's a buyer tour, and this is my custom buyer tour. And then I know next time that I go in and create a buyer tour, I'm going to scroll all the way to the very, very bottom of the templates, and I'm going to find that custom buyer tour, and that's what I'm going to use, and it will have the exact pages. Again, time is money. I don't want to recreate the wheel. I just want to go in and use something that I already know what it's going to look like and I feel comfortable. Anytime that you want to go to the home screen, this does have that home screen here, or you can hit that Moxi present. Anytime that you are in Moxi and you click up on that Moxi present, it will take you back to your home screen. So here you can see I have the one that we just made before. We have Mark and Mindy's, and this one I didn't label, so it labeled it for me. So again, I can go in and I can edit that. Maybe I've noticed later, oops, I didn't do that. Prepared for, and then I want to put that information here. So maybe, whatever my clients' names are, I can add that and I can continue. And then later as long as I've gone in and done that, when I go back to my home page, you'll see here that did save that automatically for me for Susie Q. Does anybody have any questions? I know it's kind of a lot of information. My recommendation would be to go in, create your own buyer presentation and send it to yourself. Create a buyer tour, send it to yourself, pick it up on the other end via your email and open it as a client would to see what that looks like. And then don't forget to hit that help button and go through and look through some of the support information that they have. Again, I can look through and say, I need help with my buyer presentation, and the bot is going to come up. So maybe I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm one of those people. I would rather the system give me the information and I can go find it. I don't necessarily need to talk to somebody, but here it's going to tell me, how do I show the presentation to the client? What is the, the overview? How do I present a video? And if this does not answer, I can get in touch with an actual person here, or I can ask another question. So that is a good reference there for you. And that's available 24/7, the help button there, that you can go in, and you can also search up here as well, if you're looking for something. I will look into the notifications to see if they rate or review, if that comes back to you. My assumption would be that yes, the system should notify you of that, but you know what they say about assuming. So I will look into that and get back to you. I will let you know in the chat. Does anyone have any questions? We'll go ahead.